Well, I was delighted to be invited to the Guernsey Literary Festival. I have been here one time before and I liked it, so I knew the place was lovely, and the talk itself looked really interesting, and of course I'm very happy to promote my new book, which is Putin and the Return of History. Well, the trigger for the book was Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine. The perspective I wanted to take in my book is a much longer one. So instead of looking at what's actually happening now, it's going back through Russian history to try and see where the roots of this conflict came from, where the disagreements between Kiev and Moscow have their history, and also to try and look at where Putin is coming from, because the West has always dismissed him. We've said he's a madman, he's got no logic to what he's doing, but in his own mind he has a very clear logic, and we may not agree with it, but I think it's worth the West having a look at it, because if we don't try and understand our enemy, to try and look at his motivations, his aims and his thinking, we'll never be able to deal with him. I'm not a supporter of Putin, but I think the West would do itself a favour if it did try to understand him a bit more, rather than simply saying he's a lunatic, because it doesn't serve our own purposes. Putin would say that when he came to power in 2000, he was very open to friendship and understanding with the West. He wanted Russia to have an association agreement with the European Union. He even suggested to George Robertson, who was the head of NATO back in those days, that Russia might join NATO. And that's so different from the sort of swivel-eyed megalomaniac that he's turned into 24 years later. I love doing these events because, first of all, it gives me the chance to put my views across, but it also gives me the chance to listen to the views of the audience. And one of the most important parts of these talks are the questions that we get at the end, and it's always remarkable how many intelligent, interesting, perceptive questions come from the audience, and that's something I learn from as well. So I hope that the audience will pick up something from what I'm saying, but it's reciprocal. I certainly get a lot out of it as well.